right. Hi, everybody. This is the Council on Aging meeting for December 4th. Bob is going to take roll call for the meeting.
As soon as I have my
It is December 5th.
5th, I'm sorry. I have Monday in the brain.
That's okay.
all right. Where's you do have it right there.
Yep.
Okay. So attendance, Karen Schultz,
Here.
Rachel Boyer,
Mm-mm.
Rachel,
No,
Lori
not yet.
Fairbay. Lori Fairbay, I saw you. I see you, Lori. You're muted. You're a mutant, Ninja Turtle. No, muted. Come on. Push the right button. Okay, we'll get back to Lori.
Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Good. We knew you were. We just didn't hear you say that. Kate Bliss,
Here.
Pat Wheeler.
Mm-mm.
She may be in Florida, actually. Bob Blair here. And Linda Robinson.
She's here.
I am here.
Hey, Mavi. So that's everybody who's, and obviously I see Chris Keefe there and I see Victoria Flynn there. And I hear my phone ringing and the heck with it. All right. How could it be more important than this? So we're doing this hybrid style so that people who don't like going out in weather under 45 degrees can stay home and watch, comment, if we let them. And we'll start off with the agenda that is here and made for people with binoculars in front of them or microscopes.
I
Review,
wasn't gonna say anything because I'm new, but I couldn't see it and I'm sitting right in
How's
front.
this? Is this better?
yeah, that's better. Review and approve, of course you have to say it as well as read it. Review and approve minutes of previous meeting.
The last meeting was on October 24th.
Anybody have any yays, nays, comments, additions, corrections? I'd entertain a motion to approve as submitted.
Approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Lori Fairbay,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair. Aye. Goody. Fiscal updates. All the money stuff.
So Karen, this is going to make this really easy for you.
Yep.
So here we go.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. All right, so donations. So this is going back from last meeting. Donations total were $275. My wages were $3,306.25. Part-time wages are $794.34. And then the expenses are $2,397.09.
That was for our director's fall party up in Newport, or what was that?
The MCOA event was in wasn't Saugus. It was up in like Beverly or something like that, but I didn't go.
Oh, but it says director wages.
That's what
Oh, COA director.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, yeah. Okay. Next time I'll bring my brain to the meeting as well. Revote for Linda Robinson.
Yes. So any questions about the money?
No. Oh, what the expenses were?
So majority of the money is actually grab and go.
Oh,
So
yes, that's right.
that was about $12.50. We also had Powder House News, we had Tai Chi Yoga and the gas, and I had a small expense with Amazon.
Okay.
And what's happened? Well, I guess later on we get to the Powder House News. Yeah, so I can ask about the postal rates at that point.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about the fiscal updates? Do we need to approve that by vote?
No.
You don't. So the heck with it. Okay. So let us revote to confirm Linda Robinson.
So guys, I boo-booed at last meeting and I accidentally said Linda Sinclair instead of Linda Robinson. And I realized that immediately after the fact. So I talked to Kristen and she just said, have you guys do a revote at this meeting and then we can move her forward.
So Linda Sinclair wasn't available?
No, this is not the Linda that I was referring to. I
I
apparently,
see.
I had 3 Lindas on the brain apparently, because I was talking to Linda Nelson earlier too. So I'm like, it was just a Linda day. Yeah.
Was it on well, your office is on Linden Street, so it's,
There you
you
go.
know, I can see the
Exactly.
confusion there.
Yeah, so like.
All right.
I
So
apologize.
I would entertain a motion to approve the membership of Linda Robinson on our Council on Aging Board. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make,
Motion to approve.
okay,
Do I hear a second?
second,
Goody. All in favor? Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Lori Fairbay,
I,
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye. It is unanimous among those who are here. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, but that would have been very embarrassing if you said no and I'm sitting here.
Oh.
You could have thrown something at the screen there in protest.
Well, considering I'm the only one within throwing distance,
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that that was not happening.
Do we have a report on Tai Chi? And, oh, we didn't, did we tell Linda all the committees we're appointing her to chair?
Not yet. We gotta wait. She's gotta get confirmed with the select board and formally sworn in, and then we'll go down that road.
Okay,
I'm afraid.
Don't be.
Yeah.
no worries. Tai Chi Yoga and van update, yeah, our beloved van.
Yes, so van is still fine. We are still with we're still with 2 drivers. Our other part-time driver is still out. Van is working 3 days a week.
Good,
We've had no issues. No, but everybody's been, Russell's our per diem driver. Everybody's been fine with him. So, we've had no issues there. We've been notifying people now that we consistently have 3-day-a-week coverage. So we are getting more and more requests now for Tuesday rides. So we have, we are starting to see the uptick again in more medical appointments and more ride requests, which is good news.
what is the proportion of medical as opposed to shopping?
I would say it's probably 80-20,
Right,
between 75-25 and 80-20. Most of them are
Yeah.
medical appointments. We have like a couple people who will do shopping every week, but it's not, or like on a bi-weekly basis, but the vast majority of the rides are medical.
do we have something that says Tuesday is shopping day or Wednesday is shopping day?
So part of that is what we're doing instead is that when we're getting in the requests for medical, when we're booking out for grocery runs, we're telling people that we aim to do it on either Wednesdays or Thursdays, but it just depends on the medical rides that we get booked. Because if we tell people exactly like 9 a.m. Thursday, we're going to do a grocery run, but then we get a request for a medical appointment, I'd rather take the medical appointment first. So what we do is we're trying to give people like a time range and just say, okay, like we're going to do Thursday this week, roughly this time period for shopping. Then they go and, or that gives us the ability to accommodate more medical rides and get people the groceries.
What would we have to do to get up to 5 days a week or even 6?
I have to see what happens with our other driver. And we would then need a lot more money in the budget.
A lot more as in,
So as of right, we'll talk about this. I have put in the budget requests for next year. And as of right now, we are budgeted, the van is roughly budgeted for about between 20 and 23 hours a week of driving. That's all that's all for the part-time wages that we're budgeting for.
how many are we now doing?
It depends on the week. We're into the teens. But again, like that's going to go back up again now that we're doing 3 days a week. But that's part of the concern is that we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money budgeted to run the van, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. or
Do
whatever. I'm
we,
gonna do.
do we have enough in our overall budget to put more into the van? So we don't end up at the end of the year with leftover money that could have been spent on the van?
We will talk about it. We will talk about it.
Who's we?
We will appoint, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay,
But yeah, so at this point, for this fiscal year, I think we're gonna be fine. For next fiscal year, I am worried.
okay. So you think our overall budget would not accommodate a more robust schedule for the van?
No,
Well, I think that's something we need to work on. Either we need to get more funds or figure out how to get that van rolling on a all days of the week basis.
the concern that I have with the van is that obviously, like, I don't want to ever turn down a ride. But
Amen.
the thing is too, is that the van is one of those line items that we have that it's not necessarily a fixed expense because we're very beholden to what gas prices are gonna be for it. The van averages about 20 miles a gallon, roughly. It's a little less in wintertime. And the reality is that we don't have enough money in the expenses to cover gas for 5 days a week, full running nonstop. We don't have the budget for part-time wages to do that. And we do have the formula grant money, which is fine. And we do have some donation money that has been carried over, which is fine. But I worry about us recommending services to a point where then we're gonna be in the red. I don't ever want to propose to you guys something that is gonna make our budget not balanced. Because it's not sustainable in the long run. Maybe get through it for a year, but it's not sustainable long-term.
So where's the money tree we go to shake to make it fundable?
Well, it's budget season, so
Yeah,
you're gonna see. I have submitted the budget for FY 25. It did get into the accounting office. I am meeting with FinCom at the end of January. We will have to see what happens between this budget season, but I'm telling you all right now, we have been told like that we're doing level funding for expenses. So no new money for expenses next year.
So if we were to boost the van, expenses would reduce what?
Well, here's my concern is that the van does not bring in any money for us really. We get occasional donations, but the van costs us money. It does not bring in money. So if we were to, and I'm not saying that we don't obviously do that because again, it is a need. The question really then becomes we don't mandate charges for the van. We're
Right.
donation based only. There's a lot of towns who charge. There's a lot of towns who have a friends group that help to do supplementing. Like I said, we could put some of the formula grant money towards it, but it's a Band-Aid because I don't want us spending every dime that we have set aside for formula grant because what if the van needs a major repair? We don't have an expense account anymore for the COA for van service. That's been lumped into the normal expenses. So I'm not saying that we can't do more to expand. I'm just saying that if we do it, we could hypothetically tap into the donations account that we have because we do have a reserve. But that I think is a 1-year solution. It's not a long-term one.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on having a bake sale every time we need to expand services. It seems like it should be, we don't make money on it. Well, it's a service and we're a service. So we're not a for-profit organization.
No.
We want to stay within our budget, but the budget needs to reflect the expenses that come with the services we provide. I just think we need to up the game on our van operation. There's another side to that, which is that some towns do get help from the Worcester Regional Transit Authority.
It does.
I'm happy to carry that torch if I know where it's needed and how much is needed.
I mean, and in all honesty, guys, until our budget expands, and again, like, you know, there's only so much that, again, the budget that we have can do. So we are very limited, and that's why we have to prioritize like where this money goes.
How many trips a week are we turning away?
The only time we turn away a trip is if we have somebody who calls in and we're getting like multiple medical requests for the same time that are going in opposite directions.
Mhm.
So even if we have people who are requesting rides and they're going in the same general area around the same time, we will tell people, you're going, but you're going with somebody.
Mhm.
And we warn everybody before they're on the bus, and it's fine. We've never had a problem with that. But like, we've like sometimes had requests for like rides to like Groton, Concord, and Worcester all at the same time. And it's like, you know, we physically cannot be at 3 places at one time.
Yeah.
So like, they're not even geographically close. So we'll tell the, like, whoever calls first gets the priority. So we'll say it's always a first come, first served basis. So like, we're already getting now calls into January for rides. And I tell people, like, as soon as you have an appointment, call and tell me, because then you've now reserved your spot. But if you don't tell me and you call me like the day before, if we have a conflict, I can't book you.
Do we have any
Something,
volunteers?
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry that
after
I'm
you.
asking all these questions. I don't know
Please do.
what happens
Please
here.
do.
So do
Yeah.
we have any sort of volunteer stream of people that will drive people to appointments if we have an override?
We don't have anybody who's per se a volunteer, and it gets a little dicey if the town then gets involved in it too, because God forbid, in case something happens, traffic accident wise, it's a liability problem.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, there are some members of town who are part of Neshoba Neighbors. There are some town, you know, there are some people in town who will, you know, again, depending on where they're needing to go. Like, I got a call the other day and they're going to be speaking with MWRTA because where they're looking to go is in that transit area. So then, you know, the thought is, okay, can you get a ride to where that could pick you up? And then, you know, be able to use those services that way. Some towns do contract with Uber or Lyft, and then they can provide the rides. Again, it's possible. I don't know how much it would upfront cost us. Back in the day, a lot more towns did taxi vouchers, which not as common anymore.
And that can get
And it's
very
also very
expensive.
expensive. Yeah. So
No, I think Worcester has sort of a hybrid
They
system
do.
that way. They've got the WRTA, they've got the Worcester bus routes, and they've also, they will go pick anybody up.
right.
Seems like it's either taxis or the specially
Well,
designated
And most of the bigger towns,
microbuses.
yeah, and most of the bigger towns have multiple vans and multiple drivers driving at the same time. We have one van and one driver on at a time. So we have to really prioritize what we're gonna do. And again, like I said, unless our budget multiplies exponentially that I don't know about, it's not feasible.
Okay, I'm standing in the crosswalk fairly often waiting for the Metro West bus that's taking, seems to have a route, goes by Market Basket.
It does go
And-
into Highland
And
Commons.
there's another one as well. I'm just thinking, why can't we tap into something like that?
We're not part of their,
Not Metro West,
Mm.
but
yeah,
whoever else.
it would be WRTA.
Is Hudson in their area?
No, we're the cutoff.
See?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna talk with the WRTA since I'm on that advisory board now and just say, "Bleh, the heck, how many towns are there that you're not serving? Other than us? Hello?
I'm sure we're not alone. I'm
Can't
sure
be.
we're not. And unfortunately, I'm sure the WRTA, like I've been in a couple of these like transit meetings too, where like, I know that they're having problems getting staff for buses and stuff like that. So I get it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what WRTA now is that they're doing is they're paying COAs reimbursement for like gas or for vehicles or things like that. Then
Yeah.
the onus comes back on us as like, okay, can we then get the coverage to do that? Which again, hypothetically, we may be able to, but that's a maybe.
Right.
And then just making sure that, again, we have, you know, again, we could designate one van solely for, you know, medical rides. We could designate our van for the grocery runs or whatever, that again, wouldn't be covered with that. It's just, it's not something that's gonna, you know, I think that that's probably a year or two down the road.
Does this issue come up before the select board, Chris?
This particular issue?
The issue of getting public transportation into
No,
Berlin somehow.
no, I know Victoria, you know that if the COA wanted to ask for something in additional to the level services budget, you'd have to just put something in writing to back it up.
Yeah, I've already got 2 other supplemental requests for next year. So,
Okay,
and it might help us spread our budget a little bit.
okay,
2 other supplemental requests for what?
So I have 1 request to get a worker for the COA social services. We're gonna see if that goes through. And then the other request is for the Powder House News to become a town paper and not solely for the COA. So then that takes that expense off of us.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because we do cover everything in town. It's like we do open it up to all departments. They, they don't have to, if there's anything that they ever want to put in there, they're able to do so. And I know that when we did the UMass study, one of the big concerns that the residents had was that they felt like they were disconnected and they weren't connected to what's going on with all the town departments and within Berlin itself. So if it becomes a town paper, it would give people the capacity to, I think, get a little bit more knowledge about all the departments evenly, be aware what's going on, and then, whether or not it would be something that gets mailed out to everybody versus you sign up for the mailing, or if you do it monthly versus bi-monthly, like there's some wiggle room with it that way.
Yeah, it would end up expanding its, if it went to all town residents, it would triple the number of papers going out.
But it wouldn't necessarily be that you'd be printing that many papers. That's the thing.
Push the email
You'd be
more.
pushing the email and the digital downloads.
Hmm. In a way, it's kind of, it isn't fully, but it's kind of, at least for seniors, it's kind of a Berlin Neighbors Connect on paper at this point. At least that's what I try to
I do love the Powder House, and I do think that it does give a lot of really good information. The problem is that because it's only coming out every other month, there is going to be that lag. And
Yeah.
like we have times too where like I'll tell people like, hey, like we posted about this in the Powder House, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I recycled mine, or oh, like I didn't see that. And it's like, okay, like I get it. If I feel like sometimes if people aren't constantly reminded about something, then they're not gonna necessarily remember to write it down, like put calendar reminders, things like that.
Yep.
I'm guilty of that, so I'm not saying that like in a mean way. I'm just saying like.
I would have to agree with that, Ed. I think sometimes if stuff doesn't come up in front of you with a certain amount of frequency, it is easy to get caught up in the rest of what's going on in your life and forget, oh, I did want to go to that.
Yeah, I find myself turning to Berlin Neighbors Connect if I want to see what's happening, or the town website, although
Yeah.
I seem to do that less. But as in terms of present news, but yeah, the 2-month gap, of course. Lori, wouldn't you be just excited to have another 6 editions to put out?
Well, and again, if it's a town paper, like the onus may not be solely, it's not gonna be on Lori. You know what I mean? Like it would
Yes.
be, the onus would then come back to like the town departments, Kristen could then organize it and say, hey, whoever has updates, you're gonna give it to me by this date and time, for the layout and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying that like Lori would be absolved, but then it's not Lori's responsibility.
Have you thought about doing like a calendar with all these dates and things on them, just something online that people could access?
Well, that's also been discussed about as well, but because boards and committees are changing things, and especially now that we're going into budget season, that's what's going to be the focus for the next few months. So until like really, I would say, January to April, that's really going to be budget time. So it's going to be really
Yeah.
FinCom and select board focusing on budget stuff. And then, for us, like I will get you a calendar of like what I'm planning. I am meeting with our teacher for the digital literacy grant this week, and we're going to finalize a calendar and just say like, here are the dates that we're looking to do the classes, here's the frequency of them, let us know when you want to, let us know, we're going to do
But-
like RSVP cutoff for that.
But Lori, you're not talking specifically about what the departments are doing, although that's useful to know if they know what their schedules are. You're talking about activities in town in general?
Yes. in
Yeah.
general, so everyone could put in there, it could be a calendar with the actual, like a calendar
Yeah.
with the date and listed on it what's happening on that day, what times.
I think that that's ideal. I think of that as an ideal. I don't know how practical it's going to be because you know as well as us that we've always had problems trying to get in touch with certain people to get up to date calendar information. So it's like the cutoff then becomes how in depth do you go with it? And I'm not saying that we don't do it because I do think that it is something that is really important. You know, like I said, I think if people are aware, you know, like Board of Health meets twice a month, Select Board meets, you know, twice a month to weekly during budget season. I think even that stuff too, just for people to just be kind of aware. Hey, look, you know, these meetings do occur. And then, you know, like you said, whatever else is going to be going on in the town, you know, people can then pick and choose what they want to do.
I like the idea of a calendar. If it's successful enough, people will be chomping at the bit to get their information on. They'll see it's a useful way to have their stuff publicized. And I think it'll be less of a burden on Lori or me or you to hound people to get their information in on time. It's sort of it's up to you if you want your event listed. That's what I've done with the churches, is finally said, you know, I keep asking you every 2 months, but we're going to put in just your general mass on this hour and so forth, unless you give us a more specific date. And then they seem to, oh, okay. Next thing you know, you're getting more details.
I know Victoria at the library is getting me some additional information as well. She reached out to me last week. So I told her, you know, just get it to me by mid next week. And she's going to give us a whole bunch of stuff that they've got planned for the library. So, you know, I'm totally fine with us spending like a page or two on just a layout of a calendar. And then we can just kind of again, highlight what's there. And then, you know, for those who are more tech savvy, they could go on to the Town of Berlin website or My Town Government or, you know, to Facebook to see if there's any additional changes that come.
Anybody have any other input on this specific subject? Okay, let's move on.
We're kind of bouncing all over the place. We kind of did the budget and Powder House. So, is there anything else that you guys want from next Powder House?
Well, we did the budget and then we took a powder.
Yeah.
So the next Powder House, yes, we want to do the introducing people. Have we got anybody in
I
mind?
have, so Victoria gave me a photo, so we have her. I have Linda, the new assessor. And then I am reaching out to Sergeant Gilchrist because we have a new 4-legged member of the Town of Berlin employees. So what I would like to do, if you guys have no objections, is I think if we had like little puppy corner where we could talk about, you know, because the police now have a police dog that it's going to be going to training and it's going to be going out on the runs. Sergeant Gilchrist is his handler. I think if we had like that kind of be like an ongoing little series of just like how, you know, how is Officer Puppy doing? I think that might be really cool. Something a little different.
A comfort puppy.
Love that idea. Who doesn't love a puppy?
Exactly. Like, and he's flipping adorable. Like I saw him about a month ago. He's already huge. Like, he's going to be massive, but like, you know, he's already super cute. So
He's going to be a Mastiff?
he's a massive dog. Like his paws are huge. Like
Yeah.
that dog is probably going to be easily 90 pounds. Easy.
Water dog.
Next time you see the chief, I want you to tell him that he needs to bring the dog by 19 Carter, because all of the dogs from public safety have been to 19 Carter.
Okay.
And I want to see that puppy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes. You have special treats available for him there? You don't expect him to return if you don't give him something, do you?
I do have special treats that I bring just in case
Okay, then.
for some of the folks that come into 19 Carter to see
Well,
a dog.
we
you
could
know?
also have like animal
And we
corner
only
too.
allow those dogs in.
Exactly. I think too, like the January, February issue, like we could even do like animal corner too, because we do have animals that are coming in and out of the town offices pretty frequently, minus Officer Puppy. Like we have, like Kristen brings in her dog. Dee, the new select board assistant, has brought in her dog, so, and again, it's something very cheerful for wintertime when people are going to be home more. Might be something nice that we could do like a little mini spread about like the animals of, the Berlin departments. If you guys want to.
We could call the Berlins going to the dogs.
Dogs,
There was
cats, whatever.
there was something popped into my mind, actually. One of the seniors in town called, left a message saying her daughter had just received a very prestigious award in not storytelling, but related, and thought that might be something interesting to put in the Powder House News. And I thought could actually be a little section that people could contribute to about what's happening with their kids or their family or
We could
whatever.
do start a new column like Berlin's accomplishments.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
like
then-
that.
and Again, like, and then have it be open again to the public, be like, hey, like if there's an accomplishment that you want highlighted, let us know and, you know, we can talk about adding that in. That's, like I said, I think if you phrase it like that, perfect.
Lori could be featured there with her Pulitzer Prize, all of those good things, you know. Why not? Okay.
I'd like to see something on latest scams out there, because I got a phone call they claim they're from Medicare, wanted to know if I got my new plastic card yet.
Huh.
There actually are, so interestingly enough, some of the Medicare Advantage plans have actually mailed out new cards already. If you're like if they think that you're gonna auto enroll for next year's plan, we have had some people actually already get their new Medicare Advantage cards for next year.
Yeah, this was actually Medicare, and they were
Mhm.
asking me what
Okay.
my Medicare number was.
Okay,
Oh,
Oh,
all right,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
we'll add that in.
And also
Nope.
your bank account number and what your
Yeah.
credit card number is. Yeah.
Yeah, and your mother-in-law's maiden name or whatever. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Anything else on the Powder House? Okay. Tentative breakdown.
That was for the budget. That was all under the budget.
That sounds like a dance move. The breakdown. That okay. Shortage of funding. We kind of went over that.
Yeah.
Think about where to focus funds.
Yep. So what we'll do is we can talk about it even more so come, the end of the month and into January. Like I said, we are getting only level funding for expenses next year. So we'll just really have to be cognizant of where the money goes.
Then there's the bake sale.
If
are you
want-
baking, Bob?
No, it's pretty cool right here. In the summertime, I'd be baking sitting here. Pending supplemental budget requests. Did you just cover that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the powder house and the worker. So,
And what?
and I put in for a worker.
Okay, is that part-time, did you say?
It's gonna be full-time. I started the request for the beginning of January 25 because I'm not gonna have time next year between the digital literacy grant and everything else going on to try to find somebody faster. So I figured at least if we fund it for a half a year, it may be more likely to go through. And then for the following year, fund it for a full year.
Is it just temporary?
No, permanent. It'll be
Okay.
So this will be a social worker?
it'll be somebody, yeah, so it'll be now. Ideally, I would love somebody who has like a master's degree like myself who could do more of the clinical stuff, but at this point, I'm thinking it's more realistic, even if we have somebody who's like at a bachelor's level, who can, just do some more assisting with me, just so that at least that way, then we could start splitting our time. We could do some more of the proactive work out there that I would like to do, that I just don't have time to do.
Bachelor's prepared under your supervision, though,
Yeah.
can do quite a bit,
Yeah.
can't they?
Okay. Says here, item whatever, 6, it says other
The
business.
business. So, we are now in the thick of winter. We are gonna continue to have the digital literacy grant, starting in January, but I didn't know if there was anything that you guys wanted to do over winter time to try to get, something positive for the seniors to look forward to. Like we had that Join Pro presentation a while ago where they do like these virtual, like the virtual excursions to like Giza or something like that, where it's like a virtual experience that you log online for. We could look to do something else, but I wanted to know what you guys were thinking if we wanted to do something. Is it a grab and go or,
I'd like to keep
MFA,
grab and goes in the mix.
right?
the MFA one was in the past, Kate. I haven't seen any of those virtual deals coming up since. I think since COVID restrictions, like the emergency restrictions lifted, they're not offering them as much. I haven't seen them. Join Pro is a company that is offering something kind of similar. the pricing isn't too bad. It's about $400 to $500 a experience, but you can have, you know, a good 100 to 150 people be a part of it. So it's not, you know, it's not like it's that much money for, you know, 10 people.
How many people did you say?
I think it's depending on what you pick. I think it's between 100 and 150.
Oh, okay.
Other comments on that? I would like to see us, speaking of new business, I would like to see us do something to soften and enhance the COA space environment. It's pretty much like a storage room. I mean, there's nothing in it that feels soft or warm or inviting.
That this space we're sitting in, it's not pretty.
No,
It could be
what
pretty.
would you like to see? Like anything like new paint, like touch ups that way, or are you looking for like particular furniture? Like, what are you thinking?
You speaking to me personally or
Yes,
anybody?
please. Well, I'll start with you.
Yeah, some softer, more inviting furniture other than those chairs. And while we're at it, why don't we get rid of all the other chairs in the town offices where you lean back like you're in a dentist chair? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I go to my sore point? Yeah, just some more comfortable chairs, maybe a sofa. Just something to make the room feel inviting, like you could go in and sit down, have tea and have a chat with somebody.
I'm not opposed to it. I think a sofa would be a little challenging only because this is the only space we have and we do have Tai Chi and yoga in here. So if we do get something like a sofa, it might get a little challenging to move during class time. But
You really would have to use that 2 foot by 5 foot space.
well, it depends because because we're doing because we also do the Zoom broadcast, depending on the time of day, like sometimes we sometimes have to adjust where the instructor will adjust where their cameras are going to be. So that way the light glare doesn't bounce off the cameras.
Oh, okay.
But maybe you could do a couple like
But-
easy chairs with
yeah.
a little table in
So,
between.
I
or
mean, like,
something
we
that.
could certainly look into it. We'll have to see where we could try to get the stuff on a budget, but I mean, we could look to see, even to what we can get. And just,
Check out the place in Devon's that supposedly has a whole warehouse.
so I
full of stuff.
have, a lot of it is more officey equipment, so a lot
Yeah.
of it are desks and like cabinets, like file cabinets, that type of stuff. I can ask and see, next time, because we usually get like periodic updates from them too when they're having like blowout sales. We can check and see if they have anything that would be more towards the more softer, inviting vibe that you're thinking.
We could also, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, we get furniture and rugs and stuff at the Take It or Leave It as well.
Oh, that's right.
That's all free.
And we could ask in the Powder House News or Berlin Neighbors Connect or town website if anybody has good quality, good condition used furniture that they have no more use for. to
My
think of
concern
us.
is gonna be, I think we can certainly like kind of put that out there. My concern is gonna be, because we still have this problem with durable medical equipment, is people are just gonna drop it off here.
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
we're gonna deal with it.
Yeah,
So
Well,
that,
yeah, but you can
that's
set
my-
up a formal process, say this is what we need, blah, blah,
well,
blah.
we have that for the durable medical equipment, Bob, and it still gets left here. So I'm really scared if it's furniture.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna come into like 3 sofas in the vestibule, so that makes me,
Possible.
that makes me a little nervous. Like, I think, Lori, I think the take and leave it's not a bad thing. Maybe if things come in that seem to be in halfway decent shape, we can get some pictures of it.
Yep,
And we can
definitely.
just take a look, and then even just some basic dimensions. And then at least that way, like, size wise, it's gonna be too big or too small, but it's the right idea. We can kind of go from there.
Can I ask a naive question? I know you talked about a long-term feasibility study for the town buildings. Does the town do any sort of regular improvement, like these blinds, for example? I think they were here before I was born, and
Probably.
that was a really long time ago.
That would fall more under facilities maintenance, and that is not our department. I mean, if we wanted to purchase new blinds, I could certainly try to coordinate that with Fred and see if we can get dimensions and,
But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm less worried about purchasing and more worried about paying.
yeah.
Like the town doesn't have a sort of a facilities budget that they do these. kind of
So
improvements.
this year we had a maintenance budget for the town offices of about $10,000 and that is already gone. It's long gone. So,
We need a wish list.
Mhm.
oh, I have plenty of wishes.
Yeah, okay, but, I don't know why blinds couldn't be on the wish list.
We
Just
could certainly
see-
look
just
into
to
it.
Throw it
Yeah.
out there, see what if people respond.
We can look into, I mean, like, these are more like commercial style blinds because there's, that wall is floor to ceiling, almost floor to ceiling window. So, I mean, like, you're gonna have to look for like 8-foot blinds for 5 windows. So we would just have to price it out and see. It's not something that somebody's gonna have at home. So we can, I can ask Fred if we have any additional ones, which they're probably gonna look very similar to what
Or I
we
was
have.
gonna say,
And or like we can try to see too if I could see too if we did make a purchase for the COA, could we get reimbursed for it? That I don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Or is there some sugar daddy who would like to donate?
yeah,
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Let's make sure it gets in the next Powderhouse News. This is some stuff we need. If anybody would like to donate it or provide the funds and we go find the stuff.
We could do like a like extreme makeover COA edition or something like that.
sure.
And okay. Lori, I can get you some new pictures. And we could do a little write-up about that.
Okay, sounds good.
Extreme makeover. Like I could get some hair dye and some, not in mind. Okay. What else have we got?
Next one is. the-
Buckets. You got 3 whole buckets requested, huh?
Yes, we have 3 requests and 1 fill-up. So, I think I put the cutoff for that to be the end of the year.
Okay.
It's what buckets are.
So basically we get Lowe's buckets and then, fill them up with sand. So that way when it gets crappy weather out, we put sand.
Oh, and.
But we also have to know where people are using it because we don't want to bring them some stuff from the highway department shed because it's full of salt and salt will just eat a concrete sidewalk. In the past, I've gone to Lowe's and bought bags of grit that are saltless
Mhm.
because we're not doing anybody a favor throwing salt on their concrete.
I don't know if Fred has sand. I can ask.
If what has sand.
If the highway department has sand that could be substituted over salt.
Well, their shed has salt mixed into the sand.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
They throw
okay. I
on
got
the
you.
highways. Yeah, that's where I got it last year.
Okay.
2 years ago because we didn't get any requests
We
last
didn't get
year.
any, yep, so we've gotten 3 plus 1 fill-up. So, like I said, the cutoff for it, I think the cutoff for the request was the end of the year. What we can do is I'll start pricing out with Lowe's, just roughly how much this is gonna cost. I can write a letter that we can, you guys can vote for the next meeting, that gets submitted to them to just see if we can get the stuff for free.
I can save you some handwriting and just talk to the store manager and see if he'd donate 3 buckets because he did donate. How many was it before? 40 or 50.
Yeah, we
And
gave out quite a few.
This will be a piddling amount. I
Yeah.
know that they are trying to cut back some of the donations of stuff that they've been asked for.
Maybe go
Because-
for 10 though, not just 3, since people probably aren't thinking about it yet, since it's been so warm.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
And I can fill the buckets and deliver them anytime. You don't have to wait till. And then if more come in by the end of December, we'll just do those. So
Okay.
that's fine.
that's fine.
The tube sand runs about $7, one of those yellow tubes.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 60 to 70 pounds worth.
All right.
Don't those kind of sink when you try to float in them in the water?
Definitely.
Okay. Next meeting.
Is there any?
Oh, any other updates since the last meeting?
At this point, that's kind of where we're at. I will have more for you guys next meeting for the digital literacy grant. That's probably going to be the big topic for next meeting.
Okay. The next meeting is December 26th.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your leftover stocking candy and whatever pies were not completely consumed, and we'll have an
You guys
in-person
want to
meeting.
meet,
to
if you guys
devour them all.
wanted to meet in person, I'm perfectly happy doing like peppermint, like candy cane, like cocoa or something like that. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, if you guys wanted to meet in person, like, we'll obviously still have the Zoom option, but you know, if you
I
guys.
think we should.
Yes, you will be our peppermint patty.
Oh, well, you know, I'll add that to my other nicknames, so there you go. So, but yeah,
Peppermint
we
or
could
patty.
both. There you go. So, yeah, so that's fine. Like, we can get like little like festive things that way. You know, like I said, if you guys want to do that, I'm fine with that.
Super. If anybody has leftover cookies.
Um,
Okay,
Yeah, other than that, Shine's been pretty busy. We've gotten, I got quite a few calls in the last week, so, yeah. So far,
good.
so,
You had any questions you couldn't answer?
I've had a couple, and then I've just run it past Central Mass Shine, and then they've gotten back to me, but most of the stuff's been pretty straightforward, thankfully.
Are
it's
you
just-
also the Shine Council?
I am,
Oh,
see, my other hat. So, yeah, so,
She's shiny peppermint patty.
yes.
All right, next meeting is the 26th at 4 p.m. Here or there, as you may wish, but you don't get any peppermints if you're at home. Meantime, have a lovely Christmas, because we won't meet until after Christmas.
Merry Christmas, make sure to
Merry
adjourn.
Christmas to everyone.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, happy
Nice.
holidays. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Wait,
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Lori Fairbay,
Aye.
Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
bye.
since you made the motion. Bob Blair, aye. Then it's unanimous and we are gone.
All right.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye.
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 Thank you.